Now factoring trinomials, and we're going to have a limitation here or a condition that our a must be equal to 1. So what we have done in the past, we have taken two binomials and we have multiplied them together, and we have in turn come up with a trinomial. And whether you use the derivative property, FOIL, double distributed, you line them up, this is going to equal out as x squared plus x minus 6. But what we want to do when we're factoring is we want to take this trinomial and reverse the multiplication process and bring it back to that factored form. So let's see, what will we do first? Now to reverse that process, if we take our x squared plus x minus 6, we want to take that negative 6 and we want to create a factor tree, and we want to find out what factors of negative 6 are going to, when added together, equal a positive 1, because the coefficient here, the coefficient for our b value is really a positive 1. Same with our x value, it's positive 1. It's just understood. So if we take our factor tree, factors of 6, we have 1 and, we have 1 and negative 6. We have negative 1 and 6. We have negative 2 and 3, and then we have negative 3 and 2. Now those are our factors, and we want to find some that will add up. When we combine them and add them together, will give us a positive 1. And that is going to fall on the negative 2 comma 3. So we can then further break this up. Very simply done. We can create our binomial parentheses. We can put in our x values, and I can just say that I have a negative 2 and I have a positive 3, which of course we know is the answer because it was sort of given to us up early. But again, that's our factored form. Now take another example, and this is where we are going to factor by grouping. So we will start off with an equation of x squared plus 7x plus 12. Now again, create that factor tree over here. We are looking for factors of 12, which are going to equal 7. And I think we've just discovered it right there. My factors of 12, 3, and 4, when added together, will give us our 7 that we're looking for. So without changing the value of the equation or expression, since we don't have an equal sign, let's go ahead and use our factor by grouping techniques. We just change our 7x into 3x and 4x. So now we can decide how to group, or we can group these and factor our greatest common factors out. Now let's go ahead and put our two groups together, and we will have x squared plus 3x. Leave your addition sign outside of the parentheses, and then you have 4x plus 12. Let's find the common factors here for this first binomial and this second binomial. So if we factor out an x, that leaves behind an x plus 3, and if we've done this right, we are going to have x plus 3 again. So if I factor out of that a 4, if I factor that 4 out, I'm going to have an x left behind, and if I divide 12 by 4, I am going to have a 3 left behind. So that is what I want to get. Now, what are my two binomial factors? Well, I have x plus 3. That is definitely one of my factors. And then if I go ahead and take out my remaining values, there you go, my binomials are going to be x plus 4, x plus 3, respectively. All right, let's take factoring to another level. So we have our a values in standard form. our A, B, and C in standard form. So my A is going to equal 4, my B is going to equal -5, and my C is going to equal -6. When factored by grouping, we want to find factors. We want to multiply. We want to multiply A times C, and that's going to give us, here it's going to give us 4 times -6, and that's going to be -24. We want to find factors of -24 when added together are going to give us that -5x that we were looking at. So if I take and I have -24, I can tell you right now we can just jump straight to, we got a negative and a positive number. If I had a 1 and a -24, I had a 2 and a -12, I had a 3 and a -8. Now, that's going to get us where we need to, so we can go ahead split up our b term into -8x plus 3x plus 6. Now we're going to factor by grouping, so again, go ahead and separate your groups, and we have 4x squared minus 8x plus. Alright, so I had to make some corrections here, so I have 3x minus 6. And of course this is going to be a -6 right here. I just failed to write it properly. So taking out my groups, I can factor out a 4x, leaving behind an x minus 2. And then I can factor out, of course I want to have x minus 2 again, and that is going to leave me taking out a 3. So if I do that, then one of my binomials is going to be x minus 2. Get rid of that. And my second binomial is going to be 4x plus 3. And that is factor by grouping.